I'm Tad Flaky,
I'm Lilibet Flaky.
and this is Pointless Global News. On today's show, we'll start with 3 really pointlessly stupid warning labels.
Then, a local inventor breaks the speed record for driving in a garbage can.
Next, a doctor shares what really goes on when you're knocked out during a colonoscopy, and yes, it's nasty like poo-poo. That story's coming up later, but first, when examining product labels, you may find strange and frankly stupid warning messages. One famous example is the coffee may be hot warning that's found on many disposable coffee mugs. Of course, hot coffee will be hot, right? Well, most of these kinds of labels are there basically because, well, there are harebrained scenarios that unfortunately happened. Often somebody used the product in a way that it was never intended for, and then the manufacturer got slapped with an expensive lawsuit. Here are but 3 examples of warning labels that seem extremely stupid and the reasons why they're there. Up first, a rotary tool is not a dental drill. We can't confirm if it's still there, but manuals for Dremel rotary tools in the past at least included a warning about not using this tool as a dental drill. Yes, people are crazy or desperate enough to do just that. For example, one Florida man, no surprise there, tried to save on dental care costs and tried sanding down a broken tooth. Cue the horrendous infection, hospitalization, and complete loss of several teeth. Our next warning is about a Superman costume, and it does not grant you superpowers. That is the warning. This Superman costume does not grant superpowers. In 2007, people preparing for Halloween noticed that a Superman costume sold by a Texas company called Frankel's Costumes bore a strange warning. The packaging cautioned consumers that this costume does not enable flight or super strength. Well, duh. But, a small child just might think that. They apparently had a small child that was thinking just that, and that's why they put the label there. Fortunately, there doesn't seem to be any cases of kids trying to fly while wearing Frankel's costume, but still, just to play it safe, the company decided to cover all of its bases before such an incident could happen. Our third and final entry is a toilet brush is not meant for personal hygiene. Check out the packaging for toilet brushes, and it might tell you that it's not for personal hygiene, or more graphically, not to be inserted in the rectum or mouth. These bizarre labels exist because of one notorious case. At a U.S. prison, an inmate suffered some kind of a mental health episode and decided to clean his poop chute with a toilet brush. That, of course, resulted in serious internal injuries. Granted, this label will not prevent anyone undergoing a mental breakdown from doing something odd, yet it's an excellent example of why there are some bizarre labels and some are uncomfortably literal.
Well, no matter how much they put on a warning label, some idiot is bound to use the product in a way that it wasn't meant for. So the only thing they can do to protect themselves or try to protect themselves is to put these labels on, right?
Yeah, they just have to put it out there no matter how ridiculous it might sound.
A man has officially become the fastest human being to operate a garbage receptacle on public roads, a distinction that previously did not exist and arguably still should not. Michael Wallhead of Britain has claimed the Guinness World Record for motorized wheelie bin velocity, besting the previous mark by nearly 10 miles an hour. Michael Wallhead, who describes his creation as literally the most rubbish project he's worked on, set the Guinness World Record at 55 miles per hour. He has since pushed the bin up to 66 miles per hour because records are for cowards and terminal velocity is for engineers. The bin is named the General Waste, after the General Lee from the Dukes of Hazzard, because it is bright orange, and because the rejected alternatives were Bin Diesel, Light Bin McQueen, and Gone Bin 60 Seconds. The vehicle itself is technically a tricycle with delusions of grandeur. The driver enters by climbing inside, folding into a seated position with knees against the front panel, and gripping the handlebars installed between the legs. One foot rests adjacent to the engine, close enough to experience what Wallhead describes as burning through the shoe. Neon lights and a wheelie bar have been added for reasons not specified in the engineering documentation. The lights make the speeding bin much easier to see on the road, but not easier for the average motorist to comprehend. Safety procedures are what experts might charitably describe as evolving. Wallhead reports falling out of the bin once at approximately 30 miles per hour, striking his shoulder on the ground. Since that incident, standard protocol has been, and these are his exact words, if it does topple over, to tuck down inside and let the bin slide. The theoretical top speed of the wheelie bin is 79 miles per hour, according to calculations, and Wallhead appears determined to validate it personally. Guinness World Records has expressed enthusiasm for this development, though notably from a safe distance. Now, we have talked about Guinness World Records and why some of them exist, and I still don't understand or want to understand why it's necessary to have a world record for some of these ridiculous harebrained things that people do.
This person sounds at least like he may have been inspired by one of the Jackass movies or the show that aired many years ago. We'll never know, and yet that kind of thing still happens, so it makes for an interesting story, if nothing else. Well, finally, get ready for a buttload of ugly truth. A doctor is pulling back the curtain on what really happens when you're under sedation during a colonoscopy, and it may change the way you schedule the rest of your day. During the medical procedure, doctors insert a long, flexible tube with a tiny light and camera attached into the anus, guiding it through the rectum and up into the large intestine. Photographs or video images of the insides of the organs then appear on a nearby monitor, letting doctors scan for irregularities like swollen, irritated tissue, bleeding, ulcers, or signs of cancer. And then comes the part nobody talks about. Enter Dr. Labelis Padilla, a gastroenterologist who warned in a recent TikTok video, "I'm about to ruin your post-colonoscopy brunch plans. Sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but chances are you'll get some poop on you during your colonoscopy," Padilla said. And yes, that's even when you do prep the right way. So when you get home after your colonoscopy, run to get showered. Do not go get food, she said. In the days leading up to the procedure, patients are typically told to eat a low-fiber diet, then switch to clear liquids on the final day. The afternoon before, you take a strong laxative pill or drink to purge your bowels, theoretically pooping everything out so your doctors have a clear view of your colon lining. Padilla clarified in the comments, saying that patients absolutely do get wiped down with sanitary wipes and a towel. The nurses do a wonderful job. It's not perfect. Some spots might be missed that are not visible to the eye, she wrote. For a good clean, please shower and then eat. Her warning comes as a new trend of sharing meals after a colonoscopy has taken off on social media, of course, with many users posting themselves chowing down shortly after. Between anesthesia, body positioning, and what actually happens during the procedure, your body deserves a reset before pancakes. While most people report feeling ravenously hungry after the procedure, having skipped meals for at least a day, Padilla urges people to think with their brains and not their stomachs.
Well, I certainly have something to say about this.
I'm sure you do.
I have seen colonoscopies done before, and Dr. Padilla, I don't know what he's doing unless his patients aren't prepped well, and he's pulling the scope out and twirling it around the room. I don't think poop is flying. And also, I had my last colonoscopy without sedation. I was wide awake for the whole thing. There's no crazy positioning that's done during colonoscopies that would cause the poop to be flying all over the place.
You are one tough cookie. I could never endure
everybody
that.
looks at me like I'm nuts when I say that, but it really wasn't that bad. And they do give you something to wipe the lubricant off of the area that they've just been investigating. So I don't know what he's talking about or why it's necessary for you to have a full shower before you do that. You should wash your hands if you've wiped up after the colonoscopy, but I don't know. Maybe I'm missing something. I
Just-
just don't think it's that big of a deal to not go out and have a meal.
Yeah, maybe just being overly concerned, or maybe just thought up the topic to make a TikTok video. Who
That's what
knows?
I think.
Well, that's going to be a wrap for another Pointless Global News. Be sure to follow us wherever you get your podcasts. I'm Tad Flaky.
I'm Lilibet Flaky.
Stay pointless, my friend.